Danielle DiMartino Booth, she's a former financial columnist at the Dallas Morning News. She was 9 years as the advisor to the Fed chief here in the Federal Reserve in Dallas, Richard Fisher, who I have a lot of respect for. He was one of the only real guys fighting people like Janet Yellen. She now runs Money Strong, an economic advising firm. And she's coming back on with us here next hour. She's going to talk a little bit about, the Fed raised the interest rate. And she told us last time she was here, she said, the thing that I'm really watching are auto sales and the defaults on auto loans. And she said, we're very close to defaults on auto loans. And she said, that's the real test, because that's where people are the closest. When you're fighting to make ends meet, you got to have your car.
Got to have your car.
Yeah, and you start to default. If you start to see a lot of defaults on auto loans and a decrease in sales, what's going to happen is now you're starting to throw GM and all the car makers and the banking sector into crisis again. And she said that, to her, that is the tip of the iceberg that she's been watching. She said auto sales are down now by 5%. She also said there's a new survey out that shows Americans think that this is the worst time in 7 years to buy homes, to buy a home.
Well, not everyone.
Like who? Who
I don't know. I'm just saying not everyone thinks it's a bad time to buy a house.
Well, you're not buying a house, are you?
No, not me.
Pat, you're not buying a house, are you?
No,
Yeah,
I'm not.
You're not.
No,
I'm not buying a house. Who else could be?
It's an interesting conversation we're having.
Oh my gosh, Stu!
Yeah.
You're buying a house.
Yeah, I'm here too.
Yeah, buying a house.
Yeah, I'm really thrilled about this. Is a great story. I'm glad you're bringing it to me today.
No, what Americans are saying now think of this, because Americans are always behind the curve. When things get hot, that's when Americans say, I got to buy a house. Okay? When they're at the bottom, that's not when Americans say to buy a house. We're at the top now. And this is only the second time that Americans have ever said, no, you don't want to buy a house right now.
Oh, you look at the housing indexes, which is one of the things you used a lot.
Case-Shiller.
The Case-Shiller and others that you used a lot when you were predicting the first housing
crisis.
collapse. And you'll see that actually they're quite a bit higher than they were, when we had the actual collapse.
Yeah.
Meaning that maybe we're even more inflated than that time. That's why I'm buying now. You gotta get in there. Guys, how many times have you heard of buy high, sell low? That's what you want to do.
Right.
That's what most
Americans are now saying this is the
sure.
time to sell, not the time to buy.
Yeah.
So
no, I don't. I actually.
My
particular opinion is never is the time to buy.
Yeah, but why? So now you've lived this whole time.
Yes.
And you've been right for most of that time. I've been like, I can't tell you how many times I thought, perhaps Stu is right. He should not own a house.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is definitely my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, look, circumstances push you into things that you don't want to do sometimes. I mean, I still work here. So,
Wait a minute. Hang on just a second.
That's one example.